to another edition of the No Job Podcast. I'm Najee Simmons, your host. Here at the No Job Podcast, we believe that everybody has to earn a living, of course, but nobody has to have a job. A job is just where you go to trade your time for money. But work is using your time and your energy in alignment with your passion to build or contribute to something that you find important, something that you think is meaningful, something that gives life back to you when you do it. Listen, if you believe in that and you're listening now on a podcast platform, please subscribe. Do the same if you're watching on YouTube. Today, I want to talk about proof. I want to talk about receipts because today people talk about having the receipts just when they want to expose some dirt, right? They want to expose something that somebody else has done or something that they didn't do. They want to prove they said something that they're now denying. But I want to talk about the receipts in a different part of our lives, in our pursuit of our dreams, in our pursuit of our business as we build our brands. How often do we take a look at our own receipts? How often do we really take stock and observe what we've done? How often do we take an honest look at our work and compare it to our expectations for a result and see if the two match, to see if the two make any sense together? Today, we pull in the receipts. This is the No Job Podcast. Listen, guys, nobody is more sympathetic with how taxing it can be to be pursuing a dream and not having seen it arrive yet. Nobody understands that more than me. If I can't say that, at least I can say I totally get it because I'm right there with you. Sometimes I'm wishing this podcast was doing it more. I shared that on the Instagram the other week in a transparent post. You know, it gets tiring. You stay up late, you wake up early, contributing to your dream, working, doing the work that you're not getting paid for, that you hope to eventually be compensated for after you spent the whole day doing the work you didn't necessarily want to do, but had to do in order to get money to live. I get it, man. I've been pumping out episodes of this podcast. Marv, the producer's been here. Anytime you see me behind the camera or hear me on a mic, that means he was there. We've been putting in work, y'all. And just the other day, I think it was last week, I woke up one morning trying to think of what I was going to put on the social media. And I thought, man, why is this not happening yet? Why is it not happening yet? We have some traction, right? So we have some views, some regular viewers, some subscribers, but why is this not doing it yet? Why is this not funding my life yet? Have you ever felt like that? Because it was hitting me hard that morning. And I don't know what it was, but something drew my attention to my page. And I thought, hey, how many posts have I made since this thing started? How many times have I posted? And I looked at it and I saw that I had made about 100 posts. 100 posts. Okay. Then I went to the podcast. I went to my podcast page and the YouTube, and I said, how many episodes have I dropped? At that point, I dropped 15 episodes. And I quickly realized once I pulled the receipts, once I looked at my actual work, once I got my mind off how I was feeling and what I wanted and what I expected and got back down to earth and pulled the receipts, I saw that we hadn't done anything yet that would result in the kind of blow up that I want. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It sure doesn't mean it won't happen, but it means I haven't done the kind of work to expect that yet. And sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in how it feels because we are reckless wanters. It is so much easier to want than it is to work. It is so much easier to desire and to feel than it is to actually produce. But guess what? The world only benefits from your production. So it doesn't matter what kind of intentions, what kind of dreams, what kind of fantasy I have about the No Job Podcast blowing up when I've only made 15 episodes and I've only posted 100 times on social media. And sometimes when you get real honest about it, you might say, man, I'm doing good for somebody who really hasn't done much. You might be ahead of the game. You might be ahead of the game if you manage to take your feelings out of the equation, your desires out of the equation, the fact that it hasn't happened yet out of the equation, and look at your production. Again, your production is the only thing the world can benefit from. Your production is the only thing the world can buy from you. You realize that, right? All the world can purchase from you is your production, not your ideas, not your dreams, not even your efforts. Because here's the key. Here's the linchpin right here. I'm not saying you haven't done anything, and I'm not saying it wasn't hard. We spent a lot of times putting together those 15 episodes. I spent a lot of time coming up with the concepts for those social media posts, right? But people aren't paying for my time, and the world doesn't see my time. The world only sees what I produce. So if I spent 15 years producing those 15 episodes, I'd be in the same exact place, because the world isn't paying for how long I spend doing something or how much energy it takes from me. They're paying for what it means to them. You might need to become a lot more efficient. Because again, I'll be the last person to discredit your efforts. I encourage you in your bravery. I encourage you having the boldness to step out and do something different. I encourage you because you have what it takes to try. And that's more than most people have. Most people just take the crumbs of life that fall to them. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're different. I'm different. We're different. But that being said, our benefit to the world is in our production and not in the amount of time, the amount of emotion, even in the amount of effort we spend. While effort is necessary. You're going to need big efforts to move the needle, right? You're going to need big efforts to make progress. But don't get mad at people. Don't get mad at your friends and family. Don't get mad at strangers, right? For not recognizing your effort when it's not attached to any sort of tangible production. You have to produce in order to benefit them. I need more than 15 episodes to blow up. Like, let's use that blow up analogy. How much gasoline do you think you need to blow up? How much gasoline have you put on this fire? Have you struck a match? Have you thrown it? Have you poured out the gasoline? Are you just striking a match and throwing it and expecting to erupt into flames? You have to be realistic. Pull your receipts. And there's another manner in which we need to pull our receipts, right? So besides the fact that we need to really be honest about what we've produced and how much money and how much progress we can expect from that, apart from the effort it took to produce that, we also need to pull our receipts when it comes to spending, to actual money. Because we act like we want these things, man, but do our bank statements show that we want them? I heard that a great measure of a man's character is his bank statement. And I agree in large part. How many of us are walking around saying that we have something that we think God put us on this earth to do, yet we have spent less money on it in the past 12 months than we have on our Hulu subscription? Does your Netflix and Hulu bill total out to more than your marketing budget for what you want to do? Right? And listen, this is not me yelling at you. This is not me saying something that I don't need to hear, because let's be honest. What's Hulu? $18.99 a month, I think, right? $18.99 times 12, $227.88. Okay. I've spent $227.88 on Hulu in the last 12 months. And if I'm being honest, how much have I spent on the No Job podcast in the last 12 months? So let's see. I probably spent $30 marketing it through Instagram. A little bit of money here and there, right? A few shirts to press this logo onto. Not $227. And this is the thing I'm saying I want to be able to help me and my family eat. Pull the receipts. Pull your receipts. What does your spending look like? When you pull that bank statement and you scroll down, if you didn't know you and you had access to your bank statement, do this exercise with me now. Pull out your banking app. We all got it. And scroll down the past month, the past 6 months, the past year. Would you be able to tell from the spending on that account what this person dreams about? Message. Would you know what your dream was? Would you know what you wanted to go into business doing by what you spent money on? Do you see the supplies for your business on that statement? Do you see advertising for your business on that statement? Do you see travel to meet people who can help you and who you can network with on that statement? Pull the receipts. The receipt. And listen, I'm just gonna end this segment with this. The receipts are your friends, right? It might hurt to read them at first. But they're your friends because they tell you whether you're putting your money and your time and your effort and your expectation where your mouth is. I think people who can't pull the receipts are going to have a hard time succeeding because if you don't measure your efforts, you have no idea what its correlation to your production is, and you'll never have a firm sense of what it takes to succeed in what you're trying to do. So I'm here to encourage you to pull your receipts because they are going to give you indicators of where your best areas for improvement are. I got to spend a lot more on marketing. That's what I'm getting out of this episode. I got to show this thing to more people. I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, share on every platform. Please do it. However, how bad do I really want this to blow up if I'm only willing to ask you guys to do it and I can't advertise on Instagram for $5 a day for a couple campaigns to make it happen? It's got to be both and. And that's another thing. Let me repent before you right now because I ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and share when I'm not doing enough sharing of the podcast myself, when I'm not doing enough marketing myself. I come before you humbly. Please forgive me. And please look at your own life and recognize where you need to repent. Where are you playtiming? Where do you need to come into alignment with what a person who realistically wants to see his dream come true would do? Pull the receipts. They're your friends. They'll give you answers. This is the No Job Podcast. Man, that was real. It got me thinking. I'm committing to tomorrow starting an ad campaign on Instagram again because I got some good results the last time. Some of you who hear me right now were turned on to the page by that campaign. So I'm going to do it. And I just encourage you to go back to the last thing that brought you some degree of success in your business and in your efforts and do it again. Nothing's wrong with it and nothing wrong with it. If it worked at all, do it again. Because the danger is, guys, we get so caught up in our emotions because we are so emotionally attached to these dreams and goals that we lose our sense. We lose our minds and we forget what it takes to make them happen. And we forget what a reasonable expectation is. And I just think what we all need to do is recommit to a certain level of effort and tell ourselves not to expect anything until we've met this commitment. So what am I going to commit to before you today? I'm going to commit to reaching 100 episodes before I have any expectations. I'm going to commit to 100 episodes of the No Job Podcast before I have any expectations. This will be episode 17. Okay? What can you commit to? What can you give? Because everybody wants to get, and that's natural. But what are you willing to give? Because your giving is the special thing that sort of jumpstarts the cycle. You want your business to blow up, You want it to explode. You want to earn enough money to do great things. You want to earn enough money to feed the poor, to feed your family. You want to earn enough money to start a charity and do what you believe God put you on this earth to do. We're clear on what we want. We need to be just as clear as what we want to give. So you would never feel embarrassed if somebody came up to you and pulled your receipts and they wanted to know what you've done to make your dreams happen. Because for too many of us, straight up, the answer is nothing or not much or I did this thing once. I know a lot of people personally who have dreams of pursuing music and they want to make their living doing music because it's what they love. And my caution to them is always, well, you always got to be producing music because most connections, most opportunities happen through people that you already know. And if the people that you know, even if they're not fans of your music, don't see you as somebody who produces music, but instead see you as some guy who had a song once, you're never going to pop up in their mind when the opportunity comes. And I'll just part with that. Be the guy. Be the girl. When it comes to what you do, be the guy or be the girl that pops up on everybody in your natural network's mind when they think about that thing. If you bake cakes, be the cake lady. Be the cake man that anybody who knows you at all thinks about whenever they think about cakes. Whenever they hear that their friend or family member or coworker is having a birthday party and wants to let them think of you. How do you get that done? You talk about cake. You wear a shirt with cake on it. You post cakes every day on social media. You write a blog about cakes. And nobody's going to pay you for your blog. Nobody's going to pay you for your social media post. You get paid when the world recognizes you as the person who does the thing that they need done. You're building your reputation because that's all a brand is. It's a reputation for the thing that you want to be known for the thing that you want to charge money for the thing that you want to make a living doing. And I'll leave you with that. Be that guy. Be that girl. I'm Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast.